Hello everyone, welcome to the Mammothon tutorials. I hope you're all excited to get started. We're going to start off with a short introduction. So first of all, I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Rebecca, I'm the Programme Manager for the Mammothon from Encode Club. And I'll be in contact with you throughout the programme, and if you have any questions at all, then I'm the person to ask. So just send me a message on Discord or by email, and I'll try my best to help you out in any way that I can. So at Encode Club, we're an education community. We help you learn, build and forge your careers in emerging technology. We do this through educational events like hackathons, public education series, boot camps and accelerators. And we hope those of you who are new and joining us from the Mammothon will stick around in our community as you build and grow, because we're really excited to be part of your journey. So let's talk about the Mammothon. It's a really simple process. You have 28 days to build and ship your projects and be in with a chance of winning part of the $250,000 prize pool. So that is huge. The prize pool is going to be split evenly between the top 10 teams across all idea tracks. Now, this is where the Mammothon is a special event. In the Mammothon, you don't have to come up with your own project concept. There are Celestia Ecosystem partners who have shared ideas on what they want to see built on their tech stack. So they've given you all the resources that you need to succeed. You can build unstoppable apps, you can craft on-chain worlds, and you can upgrade the internet. The last thing to mention about the Mammothon before we move on to the tutorials is that in order to participate, you must be in a team of 3 to 5 devs. If you've not already, please read your emails for information on how to build up your team or how to register the other team members in your team to make sure that you qualify to compete in the Mammothon. When we launch, we'll have over 30 ideas, which means a few more are going to be announced very soon, so keep an eye out for that. And each one comes with a matching tutorial. This is really important. We want to make sure that you have everything you need to start the Mammothon so that you succeed. In these workshops, you're going to get all the essential technical skills that you need, and you're going to have the opportunity to ask questions and clarify requirements with each of the idea partners. Okay, so that is everything from me. Let's jump right in.
So I'm Nitya. It's my colleague Jordy. We're going to be here talking about Capsule. So Capsule is a wallet and authentication suite for crypto applications. So we really make it easy for application developers to onboard new users into their apps using a variety of different SDKs and components to do things like social logins, phone number-based auth, etc. So just to maybe start off, why is wallet UX important and why is this unique in crypto? So in Web 2, let's say I go onto Twitter to talk about this workshop, I might draft my tweet, hit post, and then that entire feedback loop of me thinking about what I want to tweet, me verifying that there aren't any typos, hitting post, that getting reflected in Twitter's database, and then everyone seeing it, that all happens in one app. But in crypto, there are two different applications that participate in this process. Let's say that I wanted to send to get a quote from an AMM. The first thing that I would do is go to a dApp, type in some information about what tokens I'm swapping, but then to actually execute that swap, I'd need a wallet. So the reason that this is such a fundamental part of UX is that in any Web 2 app, I can do exactly what I want to in a single application, but in Web 3, I need to switch back and forth between the dApp I'm using and the wallet that my funds and my identity, et cetera, are associated with. Embedded wallets are a special type of wallet infrastructure that fixes this. So embedded wallets make it possible to create new wallets and actually execute those transactions all within the confines of a given app. So users don't have to leave to download another standalone wallet. They don't have to switch back and forth, deal with pop-ups, things like that. And this is really what Capsule does. So as mentioned, the challenges for apps, there's a few. So the first challenge is that kind of rolling one's own wallet. A lot of Web3 users aren't always going to be that cognizant about how they're storing their private key information. Some people might have seen a meme about a seed phrase on a Post-it stuck on a refrigerator. There's all kinds of ways that that Web3 seed phrases are different from a password, and therefore a lot of the best practices for storing a password don't really apply. The second is onboarding UX. So if I'm trying an application on a new chain and I don't yet have a wallet, before I buy the NFT that I was excited about or make a post on the new social on a new social app, I need to first download a wallet, secure my seed phrase. Sometimes I have to download a whole new extension or mobile app, and then I can get back to what I wanted to do in the first place. And the third is signing UX. So as I mentioned, before I actually want to execute any transaction, I need to review that in my wallet and switch back and forth between my app and my wallet. So the wallets have come a really long way. So we started with browser extension wallets like MetaMask, like all of the browser wallets we know and love. Then we had a variety of mobile wallets. Some of the mobile wallets integrated more functionality. So this is when we started getting integrated swaps, maybe something like purchasing a name through a wallet. And then kind of a third era of embedded wallets. So as I mentioned, embedded wallets condense this together and allow you to really go through that process of creating a wallet and onboarding to an app at once. However, most embedded wallets are actually app specific. So what this means is that if I want to use 5 different applications that have embedded wallets, now I have to create 5 different empty wallets. And this is, of course, a challenge because what's so wonderful about things being on chain is that all the assets are interoperable, all the data is interoperable. If now everything's stuck in an embedded wallet in just one app, my NFTs in one place, my tokens are in another, it's a bit frustrating. And so what we've done with Capsule is make embedded wallets work interoperably across applications as well. So we get the same benefit of not having to download an extension, not managing a seed phrase, not downloading a mobile app, and the same wallet is accessible across apps. So that NFT that I earned in a game, I can connect to another application that's an NFT marketplace and go ahead and sell that right away without ever downloading another wallet. And so really what cross-app embedded wallets are the best of Web 2. So this is easy onboarding, transaction signing without pop-ups, and then the best of Web 3, portability, so a full interop across the different apps, as well as security. So I still own my keys, the system is still non-custodial, and I get all these benefits. So what we do on the Easy UX front is, one, we allow you to easily bring users on chain. So this modal is completely configurable. You can go to demo.usecapsule.com and kind of configure this to your heart's desire. And then we also allow email, phone number, or social-based logins to actually create wallets. And then on the Web3 side, a little bit on how Capsule works, and we can kind of answer any questions to go deeper here. But at a high level, we use a non-custodial MPC or multi-party computation system that leverages distributed key generation and signing. So what this means is that only the user can sign transactions, so it's a fully non-custodial system. In addition to that, the private key is never all held in one place unless the user wants to export it. And so this has a lot of great security benefits that if anyone's interested, I can go into further. Second, we have passkeys. So the passkey is how a user authenticates their account. And then third is transaction security. So apps actually get scoped access to the wallet. So let's say I connect my wallet to 5 different apps. If one of those apps gets hacked the next day, my funds are safe. And now I'll go through some key features. So the first is social logins, as I mentioned, letting people onboard to applications the way that they're used to. The second is multi-device and recoverable wallets. So let's say I lose my phone, there's still a way for me to get my wallet. And then the third is cross-application composability, we go a level deeper here with permissions as well, which is what I alluded to earlier, where I can allow each application to have slightly different access to my wallet, depending on my preferences as a user. So now just talking through the hackathon and some of the things that we're excited to support. So Capsule has SDKs across a range of different platforms. We have React and a variety of different web SDKs, so including things like Vue, Svelte. We also have a server SDK. The server SDK allows you to sign transactions and generate wallets fully invisibly in the background. Third, we have a variety of different mobile SDKs across React Native, Flutter, and Swift. And then fourth, we have wallet pre-generation. Wallet pre-generation is a special kind of onboarding where you can actually reserve a wallet for a user before they even sign in. An example of when you might want to use a pre-generated wallet is, let's say I want to pre-register wallets for 100 VIP users of my app. And then when they log in, I want them to already have an NFT. Pre-generated wallets let us create a wallet for a user before they've even signed in. And then once they sign in, they can claim it. For the Celestia Mammothon, we have a couple of different ideas that we're excited about. And so the first is an arcade game, eventually maybe even an arcade, a full-on studio. So the first here is really using the pre-generated wallets to let users play a game. And what we can do here is the transactions to play the game can be fully on-chain, but because they're pre-generated wallets, the user doesn't have to sign up. So they can land directly into onto a web page, see maybe Snake or Tetris or Minesweeper. But then as soon as they've completed their first game, you could prompt the user to actually then onboard, set up their wallet with an email, phone number, etc. So that's one game we're excited about. On the interoperability front, another idea here is you could consider giving users an asset that can be used in another game. So maybe you want to turn this one game, so let's say it's Snake, into a full-on arcade. And so in this case, maybe you want to create a point system. Maybe you want to have a couple of different apps in different places that all leverage this. Or maybe you want to use an asset that's accessible in an existing project. So maybe you want to use, referring to the folks who went before us, maybe you want to use slots in some way in your project and leverage that interoperability. The second idea here is a Telegram trading bot. So, and I should mention here that we also have, Jordy will be going through this in more detail, but we also have full Telegram bot support as well. So this idea is really a mini app or a bot that takes some goals of, let's say we want this bot to try to acquire a certain NFT, or we want them to acquire some certain tokens, and take some goals or prompts and spins up an AI agent. And so you could initially use the Capsule pre-generated wallets for the AI to trade. And then once the AI meets a goal, you can allow the right user to claim their wallet. There's some interesting kind of ideas here as well with this right user portion. For example, let's say I want to give my friend a gift. I could reserve this AI agent in their name, and then whenever they'd like, all they have to do is verify that they own the right email or phone number, and they can go ahead and claim that wallet. So moving next from here, we have a few different ways to get started. These are a few QR codes. So the recommendation is to set up a developer portal account where you can get an API key, and then you can use that API key along with all of the docs and examples that Jordy will be going through to get your app up and running. And if you're just curious and would like to learn more, you can visit the website on the second QR code. All right, that's all for me. And if anyone does have questions, you can go ahead and contact me through either of these channels. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nietzsche. I'll be taking over here. Hey, everybody. My name is Jordy. I head up DevX and integrations at Capsule. I'm going to do a quick walkthrough on how you can quickly get started utilizing Capsule. I'm going to quickly share my screen here. Hopefully, everybody can see that. Can you see that, Nietzsche? Everything good?
Yep.
Awesome.
Looking
Cool. So obviously, like most places as a developer, you're going to start out on our docs. Our docs is comprehensive. It gives you a quick setup for all of our different frameworks and SDKs that Nitya already mentioned. To start off with, you can just go through here. You can learn a little bit more about, our core concepts, learn about different integrations like the Telegram bots that Nitya just mentioned a second ago, and several customizations that you can do with our capsule model. And I'll be going through those pretty soon here. But to start off with, you're going to need an API key. And to get an API key, you're going to need a developer portal, which you can quickly find at the top here, left-hand corner of our docs. They'll take you over to our developer portal. I'm already logged into our account, but normally you're going to actually have to log in via our modal. Once inside of here, you'll create a project. I already have a project for beta development. You'll click that project. You're going to be able to generate API keys for beta development for your project. I know, I think Mohammed Javier asked about this already in the chat, so you can get a quick look. So I'm going to go to my existing key here. Since we are in Celestia, I'm actually going to scroll all the way down to the bottom to see our supported wallet types. Right now I have Cosmos enabled. You can, since we do cross-app embedded wallets, obviously, Nitya mentioned, we do EVM, we do Solana as well. But since we're in the Cosmos space right now, I'm actually going to change this. Cosmos already enabled, and I'm going to set this to Celestia. And you'll see why I'm doing this in a moment. It's going to affect the returned wallet that gets sent back to the modal, and you can have the correct prefix for your Cosmos addresses. So I'm going to save that really quick. And then from there, I'm going to head on over to our starter templates. Now, we provide you with a set of starter templates for various frameworks that you can quickly get started if you're starting a new project and you just want to test. These starter templates are very minimal. They give you the very base out of the box necessary stuff that you need to get started with Capsule. So if I go in here, you can see that you already have a very basic Capsule implementation. And I'm actually going to walk you through just doing that really quickly manually. So I'm going to tab back over here. This is actually the clone version of that React V application already ready to go. And we can now start integrating Capsule. Now, to start Capsule, you obviously have your API key. You got to specify your environment, and you're going to create an instance of the Capsule class. But I'm actually going to do something really cool. What you can do is go back to the docs, and you can copy paste it. If you went down here to React and React V, you can copy paste some of the information here. But I also want to show you guys that you can actually use this search tool as kind of like a little chat box and quickly ask a question, right? So I'm going to ask it, how do I create a Capsule instance in React V? Oops. Let's see what it gives us. And as you can see it outlined already, you have to create a Capsule client instance with our imports and everything ready to go. I'm going to grab that really quick, and we're going to paste that inside of here. And I'm actually going to just change this to Capsule client. My personal preference, but of course you can do whatever you want. Now that we have that, let's head on over to our app. I already have a very basic template, just a minimal UI, just a box, and all of our imports that you're going to be needing to start working with the Capsule modal. After this, I'm actually going to show you how to do Capsule pre-generated wallets as well. But starting off with the modal, obviously you just need an instance of our modal, your OAuth methods. These are your social logins that you want to utilize, Facebook, Google, Twitter. I know somebody in the chat mentioned Telegram. Yes, that's also a choice that you will have available to you. And then from there, a few more imports that you'll need. Obviously, state management. We want to know if the modal is opened and or closed. And then that Capsule client instance that we all already created. Since this is actually a named export, I'm going to go back out here and set that to export. So it's a named export. All right, now we're good to go. So to start off with, you're obviously going to need a state. I'm going to say is modal open, just a basic state. Thank you, Copilot there for filling that out for me really quick. And then, putting that in the wrong spot. Return, there we go. Awesome. And now we're actually gonna need a few things, right? We need a button in order to be able to open that modal, and it's gonna automatically fill us in with our state action there. And then next we are gonna need the actual Capsule modal. For that, I can write it out manually, or you can actually just use the demo that Nitya mentioned earlier at demo.usecapsule.com. I'm going to walk over here, use demo.usecapsule.com. In case you forget about it, it's right here as modal designer as well, and that's going to open it up. This can give you a quick little tool that allows you to kind of customize your own modal instance. You can brand it to your brand, to your application. So really it makes it part of your application and feel like it's part of your application for your users. You can fully customize what you see inside of the modal. configure the Web 2.0 settings here. You can add additional Web 2.0 authentication methods. You can disable email and phone if you only want those OAuth methods. And even going down further, we actually offer external wallets as well. So you can enable wallets for different ecosystems, for Cosmos, for EVM, for Solana. And the Cosmos ecosystem, you can see down here, you have Kepler, you have Leap as well. For this demonstration, I'm just going to stick to social logins right now. So I'm actually going to disable Web 3.0. And then you're just going to be left with just the social logins we have enabled. You can actually reorder them if you want them to appear in a different order. And a really cool thing is you can actually collapse that UI really quick so that you can get a kind of slightly different view. Maybe if you did have the Web 3.0 enabled, you want to show all those wallets, but all the social logins are closed off. So I'm going to actually now I'm going to re-enable email and phone as well. I'm going to keep that under expanded. And this looks fine. We're going to change this. But what you can then do is go over here to this code tab, and it's going to give us an instance of that capsule that's already configured to what we want it to look like. And then we're going to go back, drop that inside there. We now have an instance of capsule. Now we are throwing a little TypeScript error here. That's just because we are in TypeScript. And I'm going to change that over to, I'm going to grab all of the OAuth methods. I'm going to just say object values.oauth method. And now that's just going to fill that array with all the available OAuth methods. But you're going to see that you have Google, you have Twitter, you have Apple, Facebook, and a lot of the most popular authentication methods overall. Now that we have this, we have our state, we have our button to trigger our on click. Very simple, straightforward. We can actually now go back and head on over. It's probably localhost 5173. We have an instance of the capsule. We click open, and ta-da, you have a capsule modal, the login, and everything. And then I'm actually going to go back to our demo just to show you really quick. Let's actually change this. I'm going to want something a little nicer. I like the really space mono typeface. I'm going to make it all non-rounded. And I'm going to grab that code again. And what you can see is it updated to include a font and that border radius into our theme style. And you can obviously include your logo. If I added my logo inside here in the URL to a logo, all of this would update. You can then just drop that into your application. But for now, we're just going to keep this pretty simple. So I'm going to grab that again, replace the existing version of capsule modal. And because it's giving us the old ones, we're just going to do that object.values OAuth method one more time. And I actually do have a logo already imported into the project, so I'll just replace that there as well. Fonts will always grab fonts that are already imported into your application. So just make sure whatever font you want to utilize that's specific to your app is already imported, and then pass that string inside here. And we're going to use your application's font for the modal. Super cool. So now that we have that, it should already hot reload. We go back, we can see that we no longer have the rounded edges. We are using a different font type. We're using that space mono type. Super cool. Now let me just show you and demonstrate you an actual usage of Capsule. I'm going to log in here using my email, and I already have an existing account. So normally it would go through the create wallet process, but since this is just my existing beta account, it's going to pop up that passkey on the Capsule portal. I'm going to authenticate using my device's passkey. It's going to give you a series of wallets, and what you'll notice really quickly is that we only had Cosmos enabled, and the wallet options all say Celestia, right? So we already are configured. Capsule is going to return back to my application Celestia wallets, so we're good to go. So we can grab one, we can whatever we want, depending on your application. It will say your application's name. This is all configurable inside of your developer portal for your project. So I'm going to connect that wallet. It's waiting for that passkey. And now we're connected. There's our wallet. We're good to go. Now, obviously, we don't have a reactive state in right now to tell us that we're actually connected. But if I reopen that modal, it shows us that we're connected. And you can see all the on-ramping configurations that you enabled inside of the developer portal. You can see that wallet address that you're currently connected to. And that's a good starting point for your application. A very simple, streamlined way to get started with authentication. Now, moving past authentication, we can go into something that Mita just mentioned, which was pre-generated wallets, right? We can grab an identifier, whatever that identifier is, whether it's for a Twitter account or Telegram. Maybe it's a random UUID that you utilize in your application to identify your user. And we're going to create a wallet for that user. Now, at the time of creation, that wallet actually does not belong to the user. It's fully controlled and managed by the application itself. up until a further point where you, the application developer, decides that that user can now claim it. Once claimed, the user has full control of that wallet. It's now protected by their passkey, and they have to go through the normal authentication flows. Up until that moment, you, the application, control that pre-generated wallet. You get to, sign with it and do what you need to do, which also means you can actually utilize this on the server to do some really cool server-side signing type stuff. You can do Telegram bots, you can do games, as Nitya mentioned. You can even do things like AI agents and things like that, sign and do automated trading on behalf of the user. So really quickly, I'm just going to show you how you can go about creating a pre-generated wallet. I'm actually going to strip this out since we no longer need the modal. You don't actually need to change the client. The client remains the same. The client is where you do everything with Capsule and all of our features. If you look through our docs, almost always they're going to start with, do you have a Capsule client instance that's already configured and ready to go? I'm actually going to remove this state. Now, pre-generated wallets doesn't actually need state. It does not need UI. It's all programmatic. But for instance, we're doing this example, and just to show you, we'll create a little UI to go alongside of it. So to start off with, we're going to need a state. I'm going to say wallet data, and we're going to set wallet data. From there, use state, and I'm just going to make an object. I'm going to assign a pre-gen ID. We're going to fill that in with a random UUID, and then we're going to have a resulting address that comes from that creation of that pre-generated wallet. I'm actually also going to grab the wallet ID once we got that, because we're going to need that in a little bit in order to do signing. And then after that, the user share. Now, the user share is a very important part of the pre-generated wallet, right? Since as Nitya mentioned, we're a 2 of 2 MPC, which results in having 2 halves of share for the keys. We have 1, you end up with 1. Now, normally the user ends up with 1, but since you're using pre-generated wallets, right now the application has 1. And it's very important to save this for future usage, right? You're going to want to be able to sign transactions at some point in the future, but that's a good starting point right now. Now let's create a function that will allow us to create that pre-generated wallet. So we're going to create pre-gen wallet. Thank you, filled it in right there for us. And now we're going to do const pre-gen ID. We're going to just generate a random UUID that we can utilize. From there, we're going to do a pre-gen wallets. And for that, again, we use the Capsule client. It's a very simple call, a 1 method call. It actually already partially filled it in. It tried to guess, but it's not correct. It's actually create pre-gen wallet per type. And it's per type because you can pass in an array of the types of wallets that you want to create. So again, if you want to create EVM, Cosmos, and Solana simultaneously, you're able to do that. For our demonstrations, we'll just stick to just Cosmos for now. So we're going to now pass in that pre-gen ID as our identifier. We're also going to then specify the pre-generation type. So you have custom ID, email, or phone. If you want, if you have a database already of existing users, their emails, you can just grab that whole set of emails and generate a pre-generated wallet for each one of those existing emails. Same thing with those phone numbers. You just have to pass in the pre-gen type here. But we're going to use custom ID since we're using a random UUID. And the very last thing you're going to pass in here is going to be an array of the wallet types. So we're just going to grab the wallet type, and we're going to specify Cosmos since we're in the Cosmos space and ecosystem. Cool. Now that we have that, the next step from there is that's going to return an array of wallets. So if you actually asked that you were trying to do multiple different types of wallets, you would get a full array, but we're just going to have an array of just one single object for a wallet. So we're going to go address, and we're going to say pre-gen wallets. Oh, it does it for us. Awesome. And it's possibly null. We'll just say that to help us out. And then similarly, we want to also grab that wallet ID. And it's not actually wallet ID, it's just ID. Great. And then from there, like I mentioned before, the most important thing you want to immediately grab after creating a user wallet is to grab that pre-gen user share, right? You're going to want to, it's a relatively large base64 string. You're going to want to grab that, store that, because you're going to have to use that later on. As long as that wallet remains unclaimed, you need to store, hold on to that user share. Once the user claims it, we do rotate those keys. So now that you don't have access, the user now manages that fully. But so we're gonna now grab that pre-gen user share, and all we have to do is Capsule client get user share right there. Cool. Now we have that user share. Cool. Now that we have all that information, thank you, Copilot again. We can just fill that in, set all that data. Cool. And then user share could possibly be null. So let's just set that like that. Awesome. And then to finish this out, let's get again, you don't need an AUI for PG. You can do this. You can call our server SDK and do this exact same function completely 100% on the server, 0 UI. But just for demonstration purposes, we're going to actually do it here on with a UI, create pre-gen wallet. Thank you. And then we're just going to do a simple div. And inside of that, maybe it'll fill it in for us. It does. Awesome. Save us some time there. Cool. And I am likely missing there we go. Awesome. So now that we have a full function, let's now head on back to our application here. You can see we start off with an empty state. We have our create pre-gen wallet function. I'm going to click that and boom. We have now created a pre-gen wallet based off of this random pre-gen ID. We have a address. This is actually, it's the Ethereum address. It's the same public key though. We can adjust that really quick for a new pre-gen wallet by just changing to address secondary. And that's going to give you the Cosmos address. So we're going to save that. We're going to refresh that really quick. Let's create a new pre-gen wallet based off a new random ID. And that's currently set to, now you have that Cosmos address. And then the user share, big giant base64 string that you're going to want to save in the wallet ID. But this is really cool. You can take your user IDs or how you identify users inside of your application, create an associated wallet for that user, and now be able to do things on behalf of the user. From there, the next step obviously is now that you can authenticate via our modal, you can have a pre-generated wallet. The most important thing I think that most people want to do with the wallet after that is sign a transaction, right? So let's try to do that really quick. We can create a basic sign transaction. And we're not actually going to sign an actual transaction. We don't have funds right now, but I'm going to just demonstrate what functions you would be to call. Again, as mentioned earlier before, the Capsule client is where everything happens automatically for you. So the Capsule client itself provides several methods on it. And if we were to look at them, we can do that. You have sign transaction as one option. You have sign message as another option. And then you have send transaction as your third option. Now, send transaction, pretty straightforward. It will, once you sign, it signs it under the hood, sends it automatically. Sign transaction, this actually requires a RLP encoded base64 string so it's primarily utilized more so on the EVM side of things. In most instances, when you're doing everything and signing transactions manually, you're going to want to use the sign message. Sign message signs on the raw bytes. So you can pass in anything that you want to it, any type of message, any type of transaction, and it will automatically sign on that. So pretty straightforward. Sign message is what we're going to utilize. Since we do need a few properties in there, it's telling us we need the wallet ID, which is why we stored it earlier. We also need the actual message that we want to sign out. So I'm going to just create a message. And for this, since you have to encode it, let's just encode it, BTOA, and we are going to say hello. Did I spell that correct? Yeah. Hello, Mammothon. Awesome. There's our message, and where we encode that. And now what we could do over here is pass that the wallet ID in, which we have stored inside of wallet data, and then our message. And that's really all you need. From there, you can do whatever you want. This will obviously return the signed message in the transaction. Because it's just signing and it's not actually sending it, it's actually up to you to now send that message. And I could show you how you can do that, possibly if we have enough time. But let me just put this as a signature. And we're going to wait that because it is asynchronous. And what's going to happen is going to send that out to Capsule. Again, we're MPC, 2 of 2 MPC. There's going to be some back and forth that happens behind the scene, and we're going to end up with the transaction based off the user shares. But that's pretty straightforward. Now, we obviously need something to trigger this. Let's add another button inside of here to sign that transaction. And then let's also add another field for our, yep, it had it right, for our signature paragraph. Doesn't want to do it, okay. Now, since I'm not actually storing this yet, this is where it normally would go. I'm not storing it. So maybe we shouldn't do that, we can just console log it. I don't want to add another state just for sake of time here. I'm going to remove that. But we can still trigger the function with our button, and then we'll take a look at the logs and see what happens. Let's go back. Let's inspect our logs here. And let's start fresh. Create a new pre-generated wallet. Cool. And there's our signature. These are not related to us. But yeah, there's our signature. You would get back our signature object relatively quickly, and that's using our pre-generated wallet that's completely local to my device. It's local to my application, specific to my application, and I can now sign transactions. If I wanted to, I can now take this user share, I could copy paste that, I could send it to my server, and now my server can start also doing all these types of signatures as well. Now, where these can be utilized is all over. I think one of the popular cases that Nitya already mentioned is actually inside of a Telegram bot. Telegram bots, just because they're server side, and also Telegram web apps, which is a very new thing that's very popular. Telegram web apps. You can create little mini apps inside of Telegram that give you a little quick UI. And I'm going to show you what that looks like, actually. So I'm going to pull over my Telegram. Hope you guys can still see all of that. And this is already made. We can share those links. You can actually find this inside of our examples hub. And I'm going to launch this. And this is a Telegram mini app. What it's doing behind the scene is I already have an existing pre-generated wallet inside of Telegram for my Telegram user account. And it's stored inside of this user, my user's Telegram cloud storage. So it is completely custodial to me. When I'm logged in, this mini app can actually grab those user shares that are inside of my cloud storage. So you can see my user, my Telegram user information, my username, and everything else. And there's the wallet that already exists for me, right? So I can actually backtrack out of here. I'm going to clear that storage, and the app is going to restart now. I don't actually have nothing's inside of the Telegram storage, so it's not actually, it thinks I don't have a wallet. We're going to create a pre-gen wallet. And this is doing the exact same thing that I just demonstrated inside of the React Feed application, right? It's generating a pre-gen wallet behind the scenes. Now, in this instance, it does take a little bit longer just because there's a storage requirement for Telegram web apps where you have to split it up, that big old base 64 string, split it up to be able to store it appropriately inside of the capsule. Oh, sorry, not the capsule, but the Telegram cloud storage, pardon me. But once it's stored inside of it, you'll have a pre-generated wallet. And from there, you can do everything that you were doing basically on the web. Let's see if it actually is able to finish. Sometimes it's varying times. Let's speed up. Anyways, we'll just move past that if it's taking a little bit too long. But yeah, it's the exact same process that you basically saw before. It creates that pre-gen, stores it for the user. You can do that on their behalf, just grabbing basically their username, and you can create that as the identifier, and then you can go from there. We will provide these links. I think they might actually already be present inside of the cohort, and you could do whatever you need to do. But yeah, that's getting up and running with Capsule in just a few minutes using two different methods, I guess, of our SDK.
Thank you very much, Jordi and Nitya, for the introduction to Capsule and a guide on getting started. To answer a lot of the questions Nitya has already got to, but in terms of recording and links, we will share those with you so that you know you have everything you need to get started. Thank you everyone for being so active in the chat and asking questions. I hope that you're all in a position now and you feel that you can get started building the Capsule idea, but don't start yet because the Mammothon doesn't launch until the 1st of February. So come back to some other workshops, have a look and see if there are any other projects you're interested in. But hopefully lots of you will be building towards the Capsule ideas, and we're going to see some really cool stuff coming out from you guys. Jordi, do you have a contact that people can use during the Mammothon with any questions, any technical questions?
Yeah, I mean, you contact Nitio. It's probably easier to contact Nitio first and then go from there. And then I usually come in once you're starting to actually do your integrations and everything over thereafter, but she can definitely get you up and started. She'll probably drop that real quick. I do, somebody asked in terms of sending transactions, reporting IBC. Yes, 100%. So like we have a wrapper around Cosm.js. We actually employ wrappers around very popular Web3 libraries. Ethers over, Ethers VM over on the EVM side of things, Solana Web3. So our wallet will do all the signing but underneath the hood. But all you have to do is create a Stargate client with our signer built into it, and you can start signing using Cosm.js exactly how you're already accustomed to signing. You can find that on our docs. You just have to search Cosm.js, and you should be able to get up and going there.